The recording is in progress.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. Officially, we have to welcome everyone, both Board of Governing Council members, Board directors, and all that are distinguished humanitarians and director of other various NGOs joining us today in today's program. Today, the 28th of February 2022 is the International Day for the Social Justice. And this is what WHOPE promotes. We promote equity, we promote social justice. And we have distinguished guests today that are to speak on this same topic. And as well, we have our board members to do justice to this as well on this social justice. With me on this platform is Queenmother from the United States, Barrister Ene from Nigeria, and also Ambassador Dr. Peter Smith from Puerto Rico. And as well, we have Ambassador Butler, Christie from Nigeria as well. They are here on seats. And as well, we are having other distinguished members that are here with us, Ambassador Lloyd, His Royal Highness Andrew, and other that are joining us today in today's program. I want to say thank you so much. And other instructor that we have just met today, coming up, Asud, we welcome you, and everyone that is joining us, a media person, Joseph Akinola, you are welcome on board, and others that might still be coming. We are going to start today's conversation with the Queen Mother. I think she's available and she's always ready. We are going to start with her for her to tell us more what she understands and what she has to say about social justice. And please, you have to introduce yourself and move ahead with us. So, my very self, I am James Mercy Obatunmibi, the Chief Executive Officer and President of World Humanitarian Organization for Peace and Equity. So we are proceeding further in this program with the Queen Mother, Womack from United States of America. So thank you so much, and you're welcome on board, Queen Mother.
Thank you so much for the warm introduction, Ambassador James. Yes, my name is Queen Mother Nina Womack. I am a US citizen born and raised in South Los Angeles, and I'm also a Queen Mother in Ghana. So in Ghana, West Africa. So I have reconnected with my African roots, and my mission basically is to unite the diaspora, African Americans, people of African descent with Africa, so we can develop there, we can build, we can create jobs, we can build housing and so forth. And that is what social justice means to me. Social justice is when everybody is on an equal playing field with economics. So everybody has the right to housing, they have the right to food, they have the right to proper health care, they have the right to, make their own decisions as far as their education. But historically, there has been an imbalance in that movement, in those rights, where unfortunately the Europeans had colonized Africa, and they took, as you guys know, they took the Africans and exported them all over the world to do free labor. So there's been an off balance of empowering and giving the rights, the equal rights to people of African descent. So social justice is something that I'm very active in, where I in particular, my organization offers food security, where we give healthy groceries, expensive groceries to the underserved communities. Why am I doing that? Why am I doing food recovery and distribution work? Because I want to make sure that everybody has the right to healthy food. A lot of this food that I recover are from high-end upscale grocery stores such as Whole Foods and Trader Joe's, where, you know, typically someone of wealth who, especially here in America, are mostly people of European descent, they can afford to shop at those grocery stores. But our people of African descent, our Black people in America, cannot afford to shop at those grocery stores. So I go and pick up their the food that they would be throwing out and give it, that is still perfectly edible, and give it to these underserved people so they can also eat organic, eat gourmet foods, and so forth. Social justice is also looking at the economics, the wealth in a community. So, you know, what can we do as people of African descent? Because again, that's the space that I'm working in, to make sure that we all have social equity. So what can we do to empower ourselves? Me personally, as a Queen Mother, right now, I have been a scholar, a student in studying everything about credit and finance, because people of, again, European descent, they understand credit, they understand financial wealth and investment and in insurance policies and so forth. But unfortunately, because we did not receive that education, a lot of people of African descent are poor. They don't have that same kind of wealth. So we must educate ourselves. That is social justice. You know, let's go take finance class. Let's understand how to build our credit and things of that nature. So social justice is basically equity in all areas, especially when it comes to economics. And I'm Queen Mother. I'm done speaking. If anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
All right, thank you so much for that brief message you have just delivered. It's a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. She's waiting for anyone that may have a question. Just one or two before we go to the next speaker for today. Do we have any question for Queen Mother? All right, in the absence of none for now, we have to look into the points she has mentioned later on, and to be able to understand better what she has said and other things to look into. But why we'll now be calling on Ambassador Peter Smith. Ambassador Dr. Peter Smith, I'm sure you are here with us. Is your camera on? All right, please, can we hear you, please? What do you have to say about the social justice? Please, you have to introduce yourself to us first, so for us to know you better. Thank you.
First of all, thank you, James. I appreciate it. And I'm still waiting for number 5 baby to come along, sir. And that'll really make my day. I got in contact with James some time back, and James started me on 1, 2, 3 things, and then he's really pulling the noose around my neck, which I don't think is equal justice, and getting me involved in many, many, many areas. And he's been roping me in rather well. There are a couple of things besides a little assignment that I have for myself here. Social justice is really the capacity to organize with others to accomplish ends that benefit the whole community. If people are to live free of state control, they must possess the new virtue of cooperation and association. This is one of the great skills of Americans, but many times I just don't see it in Americans, but I see it in other countries and other places. Ultimately, the best defense against Satanism or Statism or whatever you may want to call it, because equal justice is not available in many, many, many places. A statement of problem justice is not voluntarily. It is essential so that students learn to understand the particular rights that are given to them and to exist within oneself and within others. That is very true. When we send our children to public schools, we don't get the same education as we get in private schools. They're not receiving the same thing. They're receiving a less quality in many cases. Sometimes there are great, fantastic teachers out there that are able to give that higher, but then they're told to reduce it down a bit. Education for all children must be the same. Social justice must be the same. I started with this group where James brought me in, got me into different places, and I recently obtained my doctorate's degree in chaplaincy. I am the former president within the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico of 2 different cities as the president of the Puerto Rico Police Community Councils, 15 years in Catano and 14 years in Toa Baja, running the police community programs for the Puerto Rico Police Department, which is all volunteer. I am a former president of the Kiwanis International. I've served on board of directors of law enforcement, white collar crime, fraud, terrorism, and homeland security. I got my doctor's degree, I believe it was on the 23rd of December. And the 23rd of December was a very interesting meeting. Unfortunately, a person that attended the meeting with me was the president of the U.S. Federal Chaplains Association, is presently in the hospital in a very serious condition, a very high fever. Nelida Rodriguez, she is the president of the association. She's in the hospital as of an emergency last night, high fever and so forth, and she also received an honorary degree from the association. We also respect and understand James, and James is an amazing leader, an amazing accomplishment, and the people that he is bringing on. Now that's called social, really social. Now, if you go to New York City, they just got a report that took them a year to make. The report was delivered on the 19th of, on the 17th of February in New York City after a year. Now that report is only good for New York City, but not New York State, not New Rochelle, not in other areas. That's not right. That's not equal. That's not the same. We need to find something, because one of the people that I really respect is a distinguished person from within your countries who to me was a very interesting person. And I believe Mr. Tutu was a very famous gentleman in your area, and I remember him coming out many times all over the news, and I always found his conversation to be rewarding. Now, the idea of human justice and human rights came from Mr. Tutu in these times when the different countries, different places were in unrest. A famous gentleman was in jail for so many years until he got released and then became president of his country. But there still is not the same of everything together. one of the great social justice reforms that this man saw was the future. And it still has not been put into effect like it should have been for where he was from, where a former president who was held prisoner for so many years in the jails. I ask, when you do an advertisement to get people for different types of training and so forth, you must use both male and females within your picturing. Why? Because if you just put males, females don't feel part of the social justice. If you see that you have an organization, you want your organization to grow, but you don't want to make it an all boys club. You want to make it an everybody club, male and female. If the shoe fits, I'm not going to say who the shoe is for. The shoe fits for everybody, for myself, for everybody here, that we need everybody. We need male and females to come aboard and work and help. One thing I do respect from James, as he's a hard worker, he's a brilliant person. And there's still more that can be gotten out of James for all the associations. And I feel that we should get a wet noodle and beat James until we get it all, because James has got a lot to give. Just with the wet noodle. I'm not saying with a whip, James. I'm just saying with a wet noodle. Because what you're doing is outstanding, sir. And to everybody that's here that hasn't worked very close like I have with you, you are outstanding. You are a gentleman of a gentleman. Andrew is the other fella that has come along to put all this to tape. Andrew is another person that stays behind the scenes and doesn't get recognized for the work he does. There are women that there are women out there that also do the same thing that don't get recognized. Now, if you want social justice, we must start within the organizations that we have for social justice for everybody. Treat everybody equally. No one sex, be it male or female, is better than the other. We are all equal. As the Queenmother said, food for everybody. That is the biggest concern worldwide, even here in Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico is the United States of America. I've got over 3,000 peoples in Puerto Rico since Hurricane Maria hit that still have blue tops on them. I've got people that still don't have running water, and this is the United States of America. But there's a politics, because Puerto Rico is not a state. It's a whole nother process that we have to get the help from the United States. Now, I'm originally born in New York City. I'm actually, which a lot of people find rare in a chaplain, but there are many Jewish chaplains. I am Jewish. And the head rabbi for the New York City Police Department happens to be the Jewish rabbi. And in many other places, there are rabbis and there are Catholics, ministers, atheists, every type of religion, chaplains. And we need more chaplains. We need more nurses. We need more doctors. But we've got to give equal pay for equal work. Because a person is a female, you're not going to pay them less than a male. They're doing the same work, same dangers, same responsibility. We just had a big strike here in Puerto Rico, and on the 28th of this month here in Puerto Rico, Equal Justice wants to come out again because they're not paying the people a decent wage in Puerto Rico, and this is the United States of America. And what they're paying here in Puerto Rico If they take an airplane, which they don't need a permit to go to the United States, they can go to any place in the United States and get a job that pays 2, 3, 4 times the amount of salary they make here. We've got to pay everything that comes to Puerto Rico. We've got to pay 30% more because we're not part of the United States in the shipping zone. We're considered an outside territory. But the US mail, we pay the same price. Now that's funny. That's hilarious. But there's not equal justice to the people that live in Puerto Rico. And in Guam, there's not equal justice. So not other countries don't have equal justice. But the day it comes, I hope, because at the age I am of 72, being 73 come June 30th, I have to realize something. I'm hoping before I kick the bucket, okay, that things get better for everybody all over. And I'm really depressed because of this potential war that's possibly coming. How many people are going to die needlessly? That's not social justice. Hunger is not social justice. Education is not social justice. Poverty is not social justice. But then again, what is social justice? Now, I have been asked, what is a Jewish man like me doing with all these people? And I turn around, I says, if you turn around and look at it, and look at all my children, I don't discriminate against anyone. 2 of my children are Indian and 2 of my children are white. They all love each other. There's no discrimination within the family. So why am I going to discriminate outside the family? But people don't realize that. Why am I getting along and bugging James so much? James has got to help me win my bet. I got to get my bet won so that he's going to have number 5. But all that I joke and tease James about that, we get along great. We work together. Because he's one color and I'm another color, it doesn't make a difference. He's got a brain and I got a brain. The ladies sitting in here have brains. We all are a team. If I went into what I really have prepared for this meeting here, which is 1, 2, 3 pages long, we'd be here for hours, and I know that other people want to speak. But what I ask is that we turn around and remember those people that need help, want help, and are not being given the help. When the social justice comes for them, we will be living in a better place. I want to thank you very much for the opportunity to talk here, to speak here. James knows how to find me. He's always finding me. And I have to find a new place so that James doesn't know. But James, let me return the microphone to you, sir. May the force be with you, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. Ambassador Dr. Peter Smith, thank you so much. He has just made a very wonderful point that if anyone has to advocate or talk about social justice, he or she or such an organization should go back to a drawing board from home. That is, charity should begin at home. As organizations, we are coming together to talk about social justice. We must be able to start from within in organizations as well. Are there social justice? Are there equity? Even from our families. He mentioned about his family, the social justice, the oneness, the equity. And if it starts from home, we're able to take that outside. So thank you so much, Dr. Peter Smith, for that wonderful presentation. I would like to call Barrister and Sarah right away to come up with a presentation about this social justice. Thank you. Barrister Ene from Nigeria. Please, can you unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the House? Thank you. They're waiting for you.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hello, we can hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear, we can hear you.
Okay. My name is Sarah Unobe. I'm a human rights lawyer. I am the principal partner, Sarah Unobe and Co, legal practitioners, solicitors, and administrator. I'm the Chief Executive Officer, International Center for Human Rights, Nonviolence, and Safety Awareness. In these two organizations, critical organizations that I'm privileged to head, that is the law firm and also the non-governmental organization. The fundamental principle of these two organizations is human rights, respect and promotion for human rights of all persons, irrespective of their sex, their color, their gender, their place of birth. Human rights of all persons must be identified and respected. Social justice is like human rights. While you must recognize a person as a human being, if anybody is not recognized as human being, that is the first injustice you have done to that person. When you classify someone as a human being, there's certain respect, attributes that goes with every human being, which is what equality, the quest to be treated as a human being, the quest to be given the same opportunity, the quest to be recognized as a human being, treated with dignity, treated with so much respect. If you respect me and you don't respect the next human being, that is injustice. That is lack of social justice. Social justice is when we recognize each and every one as being a stakeholder in the privileges, in the rights that are accruable to every human being. When you don't give me what belongs to me, because I am a female, because I'm a woman, because I'm from Nigeria, when you discriminate against me, when you don't distribute your health according to the number of people you have, when you don't give me opportunity to express my economic prowess for the fact that I am from a particular part of the world, that is injustice. I'm not going to, the two other previous speakers have spoken so much about social justice in respect to food, in respect to other aspects of justice. I'm going to talk about social justice in terms of access to justice. Access to justice is very fundamental in terms of social justice. How many people have access to justice, especially the poor, the marginalized? In my work, plethora of work in human rights, I'm about 13 years as a lawyer. I can tell you that rule of law and equality before the law doesn't work the same way. The same law that will, of course, imprison the poor petty trader, the same law, of course, will exonerate the rich man. The rich and the poor are not equal before the law. In most countries, that is social injustice. Rule of law means everyone is equal before the law. If I commit a crime, the law should, and the punishment is this, I should get that just punishment. But in my work, in my experience, I tell you that 80% of the people that are in prisons today, they are there not because they committed a crime, not because The punishment is imprisonment. In there's option of fine, but because they are poor, I've had, as I speak, I have about 4 or 5 detainees. Some detained for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. Trial has not been, there was a trial. Why? They are poor. They cannot afford to meet up their bail condition. They don't have access to lawyer. And you will hear of corruption in Nigeria. But look at our criminal justice system. It's difficult to convict a rich man. Very difficult. But the petty traders are raided on the streets. Street traders that were not given access to education. Government did not give them access to quality life. Government did not give them access to economic empowerment. Mostly women, because they want to feed themselves, they don't want to steal, they are hawkers, they go to the streets with petty business, and because they can't even afford a shop, they go to the streets to sell. At the end of the day, the law criminalizes street selling. They are arrested in their numbers, and the next thing is that they see themselves before the magistrate. The next thing, bail is granted in 50,000 like sum with 2 shorties and all of that. One should be a blood relation, one should work 3 years tax clearance. Where will they afford that? So you see a whole lot of them in prison. Why? Because they don't have access to good education, access to justice. When they go to court, it's also like that. It's the rich man will bribe his way through, you get the best of lawyers, and of course, the punishment will not catch up with him. So we can't talk about peace and stability in the world without addressing the issue of inequality. What is good for A should be good for B. The commonwealth should be shared amongst every facet of people, social class. COVID-19 has even worsened the issue of education, right to education for the poor. As I speak, the Academic Staff Union of University in Nigeria, they are on strike. That is the public university. Private universities, students have they're in session. What that means is that they are going to graduate before their mates that started the same course with them in the public school. And then you now have recruitment into the big organization like the NNPC, the Chevron, and the rest. And they would tell them that, if you are above 24 years old, 25 years old, you cannot apply for this job. But for God's sake, I applied for, I got matriculated when I was 20. And because of ASU strike, I spent 7 years. That means I graduated at the age of 27. Now, you did not even recognize my resilience to complete school in spite of all the strike and all of this. And now you are cutting me off from what employment in a viable organization because of my age. That is inequality. That is social injustice. So social justice is equity in distribution of wealth, distribution of health, distribution of resources. There are about 5 principles of social justice, which is access to resources. Everyone should be given access to resources. Nobody should be treated as nobody. Everyone should be treated as somebody. I am not comfortable with the word common man. No human being is common. No life is common. But the fact that I can't eat today does not make my life common. I have the red blood cell and the white blood cell running through my vein, and I should be treated as somebody. When we begin to treat everybody as somebody and not as the nobody, definitely we're going to have this issue of strife here and there. Access to resources, access equity in the distribution of resources is key, is one of the fundamental principles of social justice. Then we have diversity and inclusiveness. Yes, we must accept diverse opinion. I must not be cut short because I'm a woman. I must be given access. I must be included in policy making. I must be carried along in the policy and politics of my country. I should not be shut down because I am a woman. I should be given, imagine if I'm not given access to study law because I'm a woman. My voice, my opinion would have been shut down. Again, the family circle has so much to do in promoting social justice. When a child is denied her rights or his rights in the family because of his status and say, okay, you cannot talk in this family, definitely the child will grow with that mentality of being shut down. So parents have so much to do in promoting social justice in the family circle. I've had women who are going through domestic violence and they cannot speak out because they said, oh, in my family, it's okay for a boy, for my brothers to beat me. When I do something wrong, my brothers are my parents will tell my brother to beat me because I was talking to a boy on the street. Then the question is, can the girl child beat the boy child in the house to correct that child because the child has done something wrong? No. So they grew up with that abusive mentality because it was permitted from their home. And so they grew up with that. And so they cannot speak out, lack of self-esteem. So family, just like the last speaker from Puerto Rico said, he promotes social justice. He doesn't discriminate. It will be difficult for his own family, his children to discriminate. So we must go back to the root, which is the family, which is the foundation of training, to start training our children to be equitable, to accept diverse culture, diverse opinion, to have an inclusive mentality. I have a lawyer working with me. He's physically challenged, he's blind, but I chose to employ him so that my organization will be, of course, diverse. I have to, of course, that some kind of job he cannot do because of his limitation, physical limitation. I have to recognize that and put him in research. When he sits and he researches, I can tell you he does it better than lawyers that are physically able and move around because we are distracted with so many things. But we have to create that opportunity for him to be able to live life to the fullest because he has something to offer. He should not be shut down because he is physically challenged. So I've talked about diversity, participation of everyone. It's difficult for all male organizations to make policies for the female gender. They are all going to look at it from that point of the male. But when we have organizations that include women, children, the youth in policy making, they will be drafted into it and they will participate in it. We talk about human rights, respect of everybody's rights, irrespective of where they are born, of the circumstances of their birth. They should be treated with dignity, with respect. So these are the 5 principles of social justice: access to resources, equity, diversity, participation, and human rights. So we have so much to do as individuals, as organizations, in promoting human rights in our families, in promoting human rights in our community. No one should be treated as less human because he's a petty trader, he's poor, he's from a background that cannot afford so many things. No, we must carry them along. We must make policies that, of course, recognize these issues and promote their rights. Our responsibility is to lift them up, to ensure that their rights, access to education, good education, should not be limited to the children of the rich. We must tell government that there is need to train the children of the poor. There is need to empower their parents. There is need to create affordable housing. There is need to create affordable food for them to have access to all this and promote their human rights. When you dehumanize people, because of, due to the poor area they are living, because poverty has a way of dehumanizing every human being, traumatizes you, it takes the humanity in you most times. And tomorrow you want to have a peaceful and a loving youth when they have been dehumanized by poverty, when they have been dehumanized by discrimination, when they have been treated unfairly. I'm selling something. Oh, I'll tell you about a case I handled. This boy was raided and he was thrown in prison. And his mother is a cleaner, while his father is a organizer. For God's sake, no access to a lawyer. He spent more than 3. He was 17, but the police then say, "Oh, he's 19," and they throw him in prison. This boy, when they came to organization and we followed through, Adams and DPP advice had come out more than a year. And the advice that he should be released, but there was no lawyer to follow up. Adam stayed in that prison for over 3 years or so before they came to us, and we went to court, we released Adams. But as I speak today, that trauma have left that boy retarded. He has mental issues. He's in a rehab home today. He's traumatized. And the question he keep asking them is, "Mom, what did I do for police to take me away from you? The police are still coming. They're still coming, Mom. They're still coming. I can see them." You know? And when I asked for that, why did they carry him? They came to the community to raid some bad boys. He came back from school and his father said, "Go and buy me food." And he went in there. When he was coming with that food, he saw some people running because they saw police coming. It's a poor community in Mushin. At the end of the day, this boy, of course, he's just 17. He was sure of himself that he's not a criminal. They grabbed him, follow us to the car. He went to the patrol van, and they were told, "Oh, bail yourself from the patrol van with 5,000 naira." The father said, "I'm just coming out to work. Today is Thursday. There's sanitation in the morning. I just started work now. I don't have 5,000. I have 3,000 to bail my son." He's not a courteous. At the end of the day, this boy was taken away. Before he would go around and look for money, 2,000 or 3,000 to add up to the 2,000 he has. He has been taken to SAS. That was when SAS was still in operation. At the end of the day, when they came, they said, "Oh, the police van had gone." They had to trace the boy the next day to SAS office with the 5,000. And they were told, "Oh no, we don't have, it's no longer 5,000, they should bring 50,000 naira." It's now 50, it was when he was in that community, it was 5,000. Now it is 50,000. And the man said, "Can I afford it?" That was how that boy was charged with murder and kept in detention for over 3 years. DPP advice came out within 6 months, but no lawyer to follow. And when we released that boy, we couldn't take away the trauma he has gone through. Of course, counseling and all that, of course, it's pathetic. And that's one of so many cases we are dealing with. But thank God for the Office of the Public Defender. We have the Office of the Public Defender, Lagos State, and so many other NGOs. And I'm happy that the Nigerian police and other NGOs are looking into police brutality and reform of the criminal justice system. There's hope. We are working in synergy with so many other people, and we are seeing a better and affordable and accessible access to justice for the poor, because we chose to press, we chose to push and ensure that everyone should be given justice. You should not be denied your rights because you are poor. So government is working, they are listening to us now. The Lagos State government, the federal government are setting up committees and reform agents, you understand, agencies to reform all these. You can see what happened with the ILT, we see what happening with SARS. There is commitment and political will to ensure that all these abnormalities are addressed. So my own message for the United Nations Social Justice Day is this: everyone should be treated as somebody. Nobody should be treated as a nobody. Everyone should be given equitable and equal access to health, resources, participation, and their human rights. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Barrister N. Sarah Unobe. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. We have learned so much about inequality between the rich and the poor, the resources management, mismanagement, then gender-based equality. We talk about culture, human rights, and other police brutalities we have mentioned adequately. So thank you so much. I want to say this. Please, if we are having any question for all the speakers, please just put in the box your question and put the name of the speaker you are directing the question to. It might be the speaker one, the Queenmother, the speaker two, Dr. Peter Smith, then the third speaker, Barrister NM. If you have any question for them, put it in the box. It will be read out to them. And the last speaker for today, the special guest, we still have other people that may want to talk in the house, is Ambassador Christie Butler. Please, if you are available here, can we hear you? Ambassador Christie Butler, what do you have to say about this social justice? How have you seen it? Have you experienced such? Or what do you have to say? Let's hear from you, Ambassador Christie Butler. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Please, can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you. Unmute yourself. We can't hear you again.
Greetings to everyone in the house. Can you hear me?
Greetings. We can hear you now. Greetings. We can hear you.
Okay. And happy Sunday to everyone.
All right. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here. I was blown away by what Barrister Sarah Ene shared with us. It's really educative, very, very educative. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the speakers that have spoken so far. Thank you to the first speaker, Queenmother Nina, Pete Smith, Cornell Pete Smith, and my wonderful woman, a great woman. And thank you to Ambassador James Mercy for having me here. Thank you. And thank you to everyone that is here. Okay, wow, they have done justice to the topic already. And I think I'm just gonna share a little for my own view and the importance of social justice and how it will help us achieve peace in our society. My name is Ambassador Christie Butler. I'm a conflict resolutionist. I'm a speaker. I'm a teens and youth counselor. I'm a writer too, and other things. And it's a privilege that we are alive to share this beautiful topic. And I would like to quickly say what my own view of social justice is. For me, social justice is when everyone, regardless of their age, regardless of their financial status, regardless of their gender, height, skin color, tribe, religion, etc., have equal opportunity in terms of economic, political, and other rights. They have already done justice to it, so I'm gonna go straight to the importance of social justice. The first thing on my list is it helps people to have a good life. When there is social justice in a state or in a society, people will enjoy life. People will have reason to live. People will have reason to strive to be great. people will have reasons to celebrate the gift of life. And it will be hard for people to just get frustrated and plan to put their, kill themselves. Like we hear cases of people committing suicide. I believe that if they had a good life, they wouldn't resort to suicide. Number two is it helps in promoting safety and security, individual safety and security. For example, when there's social justice, let's say you are doing well for yourself and you're doing well, your name is all over the place, and I'm also doing well, I won't have any reason to come and kidnap you. But if you're doing well and I'm not doing well, so many things will go through my mind. How to get something that you have, how to take from what you have. That way, there won't be, your life will not be so secure because somebody somewhere is planning to hurt you. And we have cases where people get kidnapped, held ransom to bring some money. I believe that if people are giving social justice and everything is all right, nobody will want to kidnap another person, except the person is a really wicked person. So the importance of social justice cannot be overemphasized. Number three, it will promote peace in a society. When there's social justice, we will hardly hear cases of bandits, Boko Haram, except something is mentally wrong with them. Because if we are doing well, if everyone is doing well and given equal opportunity to participate in the society's goods or the state's goods, there won't be a need for somebody to just form a group of terrorists to invade other people's life, to put other people in pain, or to terrorize people. So I think one of the reasons for this, for people turning themselves to terrorists, is because they have been deprived of their rights, or they felt they have been cheated. Now, let me quickly read something from my book, Peace, Conflict, and Life, because it works together. When there's social justice, there will be peace. I'm reading from page 59. It said, when people feel cheated and neglected or deprived of their rights, they may resort to violence as a way of showing their grievance or passing their message across. You see, when we examine the human nature, we will discover that we don't like to be cheated. We discover that some of us or some people are kind of selfish, they are greedy, and some are mischievous, and some are good. So for us to avoid or curtail this madness of terrorists, let there be social justice, inclusion of people, regardless of where they're coming from. As long as they are humans, these people are human beings. I'm not trying to justify what they are doing, but for us to really find solution to the problem that we are facing, especially in Nigeria, the root cause of the issue has to be addressed. Without addressing that root cause of the issue, there won't be any form of progress in terms of fighting bandits, terrorists, and other menace in the society. So for me, social justice when everybody enjoys the economic goods in every area. Then I love what Barrister Ene shared. She talks about treating everybody equally or giving everybody the opportunity to carry out their potential, to fulfill their purpose, to practice what they studied in school. If somebody has no leg and he or she has something to offer, the person should be given the opportunity. That's just the truth. That way, the person will not become an idle work, the devil's workshop, because when somebody is lacking in something, he or she would think of ways to achieve something. that person, if not given the opportunity that is given to others, that person could become a threat to other people's space. So for me, there shouldn't be room for discrimination. People should be given the opportunity to practice, to work in a place, not that, oh, because you're a male, you can't work here, because you're a female, you can't work here, or because you don't have, you have a disability, you can't work here. It's disability, physical disability is not, it doesn't affect our thinking faculty. Some people even have the complete body, but they cannot deliver. There are cases like that. So social justice has to preview in order for us to enjoy peace. Now, this one is very important. She talks about, because she has almost said everything that I really wanted to say. She talks about inequality, that is gender-based violence, about treating the woman, the female gender poorly. Of course, this is the most prevailing kind of issue that we have in our own society, in Nigeria, for example. Now, let me share a story with you. Some time ago, you know, in Yoruba, the Yorubas, I love their ways. They have this habit of including their female children in their wealth and whatsoever they don't discriminate. We're going to get married to someone after this person's name. You're no longer going to answer our name. We will not give you your rights. The Yoruba, some of them are doing well and they treat their male and female children equally. They say charity begins at home. But whatever I want to show out outside must start from the home. So this family, this man was well-to-do. They sold their property and amounts he gave to them. The male wasn't really happy because the father shared the money equally with the sister. He felt that he should have more, that the sister should have less of what was given. And again, he had a friend that was poisoning his mind, saying this friend of his was an Igbo person. He brought or his own ideology that they, in their own parts, they don't give the female child the rights. They don't allow the female child to enjoy the same rights that the male child enjoys in the family. So he gave him that idea, and the young man became so angry with the father, with the sister, with the family members, and that really caused tension in the family. What am I saying? Colonel Peter Smith said, for us to really tackle the issue of social, let's say social injustice, we must start it from the family. Parents have to wake up to start playing a good role. Their children to emulate in times of social justice. The way you treat, we have 5 children, for example, the way you treat one, treat the other ones the same thing. Let it not be that this person, because this person is a male, should be given the biggest meat, or this person is a female, or the last one should be treated, and they should be given preference. No, let each child be treated equally. Though there are children who are funny, like they're very naughty, even though you have children like that, manage them with wisdom. Make sure you show them how to treat people equally and equal respect for everyone. To be honest with you, both in some places, hello? Can you hear me, please? Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you clearly.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we need to start changing our mentality. That is the only way we would treat this issue of social injustice. We should start teaching our children how to treat people equally, how to respect people regardless of their height or sex, or should I say gender. People should not be treated the way that is not right. That way, if people are treated well and well respected, or taught how to respect both male and female gender, there will be a platform for people to learn the right attitude when dealing with humans. You know, parents, for example, should teach their children about love too, because with love, we can equality by the way they do things or they treat their children, because these things are things that children will learn and take out to influence others. If we are taught the wrong things in the family, of course, these people will take it out to carry out on others. And I think this is one of the reasons for social injustice. So for justice to really have a way and preview, we need to start working from the roots, which is the foundation, which is the family units. Everyone has to be involved in this. Everyone has to be involved in this, and that way we will have peace, we'll have progress, and we will live in unity. Thank you so very much. I appreciate the opportunity given to me.
Thank you. That was so wonderful from Ambassador Christie Butler. She has said so much and she has done justice to this social justice. Thank you so much for joining us and for coming on board. Thank you. We appreciate you so much. Yes, it's just the last guest speakers. Before we throw the open for anyone that may want to speak, I want to quickly ask a question from our dear barrister, and Sarah. Please, is she here with us? Like the ones, a point you mentioned about women and men in the family when it comes to culture. You know, in some family, they do agitate for who among them serve the father's properties, like landed properties, you know, when father died or parents died. Is there any law concerning that now that is giving female women edge to also have rights to their father's property or parents' property? I just want to ask that for a benefit of doubt for those that may be thinking such too. Barrister N. Is Barrister N here? Maybe she's somehow busy. We are going to retain that question for her, being a barrister, being a lawyer. We want her out to come and answer that question. So thank you so much. If she comes back, we'll be able to ask that question. Yes, Queenmother, are you still here with us?
Yes, I'm right here, Chaplain.
Yeah, you've been to Ghana. You've been to Nigeria before you went back to your base there. What can you say when you were in Ghana, when you were in Nigeria, about this social justice in Africa? What can you just say briefly? What do you notice?
Sure. Well, the inequality of wealth distribution is definitely a factor that I noticed in Lagos, but in Nigeria. But one thing in particular, social justice and racial justice are very interchangeable. And when I went to Nigeria, certain parts of Nigeria, certain parts of Ghana, and to understand that the African continent is so rich in resources, they have everything there that any man would want, which was why the Europeans came in and colonized the African continent. But when I look at the devastating poverty that is left among those people and know that it was because of the colonization, that breaks my heart. And I feel like I have a mission, I have a calling to help do my part as a woman of African descent to bring social justice, to help reform that. If we don't ever get reparations, I don't know if we ever will as people of African descent, as Africans. And so forth. But we can empower ourselves by creating jobs, by creating development, by building and expanding in agriculture, so we can build our own wealth, so we can empower our own selves. So I would say that the biggest thing for me is to see how the people, some people are still suffering there, which again is from the direct hand of colonization. And it's time for people who really care about equality to come do our parts to reverse that. Let's come invest in Africa. Let's invest in agriculture. Let's create jobs for the youth. The biggest percentage of the population in Africa are youth, are under 24 years old. So what is going to be their future? What job opportunities are out there? You know, what education opportunities are out there? But each one of us as individuals, we can make a difference. I'm over there making a difference. There's Andrew, I know Prince Andrew is doing his part to make a social impact. Lloyd is making a social impact. So we've got to come together as unit, you know, in unity, and make a difference to really bring social equity to Africa. And the reason why you guys may think, why does she keep talking about Africa? Why does she keep talking about people of African descent? Because this hasn't been resolved yet. The problem, the poverty, the colonization, all of that hurt and pain, the trauma has not been resolved yet. So we must resolve it. And then we can move to looking at everyone as one human race, because ultimately we are, whether we're Black, white, Asian, whatever, we are one human race. But until we have this restitution and healing for people of African descent, we cannot all be equal. We cannot operate in equality until that healing and that trauma is eradicated and the healing comes on. So that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will not keep silence or keep short until we get things solved, and until we see that there has been a change and the social justice is in place and equality is also in place. So we will not rest, we will not keep short until even our government do something. We have just added on to a point you have just made, that we don't all need to depend or rely on the government. We can help ourselves on this job, you know, innovative jobs here and there to help ourselves, to help our community. So thank you for that contribution you have just made again. Then I will quickly throw this to Dr. Peter Smith in 1 or 2 minutes. I want you to talk about this social justice with indigenous people. Like in Puerto Rico, we have indigenous people. So what can you say about the social justice, about the indigenous people? Dr. Peter Smith, can we hear from you?
Yes, James. Before I answer your question, I want to throw something in on a personal note. Somebody sent me a message on Facebook that said that they don't know why I'm complaining so much, that I was born with a gold spoon in my mouth. And I'm going to answer that question. I'm not going to say who the person was, but I was not born with a golden spoon. When I was born, I was given over to be adopted. I never got adopted. I got my freedom from the Jewish Federation at 18 years of age, and from there on down, I worked myself up in life. I went through Boy Scouting, summer camp, school, everything else. Became a police officer. After becoming a police officer, I got transferred to a federal agency and moved to where I am now in Puerto Rico. But I did not grow up with a golden spoon. I grew up being a ward of the state of New York. That means there's no mother, no father, no aunts, no uncle, no grandpa, no nothing. Well, the person that asked me the question, I'm not mad at you for asking. I appreciate that you did. But I just want to let you know that not everybody sitting in this room has got wealth. I have worked for everything that I have. I have raised 4 children, 6 grandchildren, and I have 3 great granddaughters that are Filipino, but they live in the United States. I don't care who people are, what they are, what their color is, what their nationality is. It does not bother me, because you have to learn to get along with everybody. If you cannot get along with everyone, just because James is black and I'm white, I'm no better than James. We're equal. And just because Ambassador Christie is here, I'm no better than she is. We're all equal. So that part of the golden spoon, I hope, has been answered. Now, as far as those people in Puerto Rico, yes, we do have that same issue. We do have a very high percentage of poverty in Puerto Rico. But I blame that poverty on Puerto Rico mostly on the federal government due to something which is called food stamps. Once food stamps came out, I don't care where you live in the United States, people stopped working. They want to live off the government. And that I saw in many, many, many ways. I remember people that really had finances, and now they're walking around the streets as poor as can be. They don't get the proper help they need. They get dropped off. We got 59 towns in Puerto Rico. They get dropped off all in different towns so that they can get all different types of help. That's not equality. That's not the same justice. Now, just this past week, a mayor, a very well-known mayor, a respected mayor for years and years, was charged with sexual harassment and other laws. And that person got 3 years probation. And let me tell you something. If that was anybody else, they'd get 20 years in jail. So that goes to show you where there's money, you can buy your way out of anything. Unfortunately, it exists all over the world. The same issue of social justice will never be the same until everybody gets on board and does it together. And again, I don't mind being an orphan. I've done whatever I can in my 72 years. I'm going on 73 come June 30th. But I'll say this, I don't use my excuse that I had no mother, no father, no this, no that. If I make a mistake, I man up to it. And that, James, is social justice. I hereby rest my case.
Thank you for that, Dr. Peter Smith. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. Now, I would like to go to our dear Governing Council member, Dr. Yewande Okunore, to say something about this social justice. I know you are the president of Africa Diaspora of the International Human Rights Commission. I know you have much to say, but briefly, can you just contribute to this conversation on this topic, social justice? Can we hear from you, Dr. Yewande? Please introduce yourself and go ahead.
Excuse me. Hello, everyone. I don't know what's wrong with my voice today. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you clearly.
We hear you fine.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Yes, I must say I appreciate everyone for coming to this meeting. And I also appreciate Asude, my latest staff. That's my translator for Turkish language. I must say people have different experiences. For me, as Director General of Operations International Human Rights Commission African Diaspora. I'm also the president, AHIABGA African Diaspora Europe chapter. We do have a global president who is the Queen of Ghana Fulani Embu Kingdom, Her Royal Highness Queen Aminata. The way people are treated sometimes depends on the perceptions. For instance, the first time I left Nigeria to go abroad, I was going as a PhD student. Remember that I did an exam before I was admitted for a PhD. And for me, whenever I was within the university premises, you know, I felt like a goddess. I saw people, various races coming to me saying, oh, I've just washed your lab coats, which we use in the laboratory. They didn't care whether I was Black because they, you know, they were on the pay grade, they were beneath me. But when I found myself in the society, I did feel that issue of racism. So I must say it's all about your social class, your level of education. I mean, if somebody comes to me and, for instance, I'm the head of the health unit and we're going to perform surgery on this person, no matter the race, because that person has seen you as a savior, they're suffering from a condition, you're the one going to perform the operation. Obviously, the person would not be racist, even if they are racist. So one thing I must say is that when people are in need, they forget whatever needs to be done. They just help me. But when they've gotten what they want, immediately they forget, oh, this was the nurse that held my hand all through the time I was in COVID clinic for 5 days. She was a Black nurse, but right after they walk out of the building and probably see a Black person and it's a racist, you know, issue. So what I'm trying to say is when we go all out on social justice or social injustice, as an African with an opportunity to study as an international student means that I was paying ×3 what a British student would pay. However, in America, I was paying, you know, same amount as everybody else. So of course, if you're going to get my money, you're going to try to be nice. If you understand what I'm saying, Nigerians will understand this, because honestly, every day we have international students pouring in from Africa, and yet we still say Africa is a poor country. Because my friends were confused, and it's always an issue when people ask. So an issue I want to address is education. Is there a way that we can change our educational system in such a way that international students don't have to travel, pay the visa fees, pay ×3 what British people are paying? Is there a way we can bring all that money together, like we had, I think it was Ambassador Barrister Ene, yes, who spoke about ASU strike, I think. Can you confirm, Barrister Ene?
Yes, she's the one.
Yes. So I did my Bachelor of Biochemistry at Ogun State University. Immediately I say Ogun State University, everybody understands what I'm saying. This is a school that when we're in the classroom and a chair falls down, everybody runs out because we thought it was a gunshot. So we were living from gunshots to ASU strike, to our own vice chancellor giving the police instruction to shoot at sight. Why will a vice chancellor instruct the police to shoot at sight? Because they were demonstrating. And so she's right. So after spending 7 years studying biochemistry, there's supposed to be a 4-year course and the person can't get a job. As if that's not enough, you try to get a job, you can't get a job because there are no jobs for scientists back home. So we ended up in banks. I worked as a life insurance with ICO Insurance. For those in Nigeria, no ICO Insurance. I was in Lagos, and when I got to Ibadan, I said, I'm here for my master's, no more bank work. So if I had not traveled abroad to go study neuroscience, I don't know what my future would have. I would have just been a frustrated scientist in Africa. So for me, I wouldn't really be able to speak on social justice or injustice, because as we heard Ambassador Peter said, somebody will say, as when people see me at work, they're like, why are you working? You're an international student. You have a lot. Why are you working? And I'm like, I have a right to work. I want to work. So what I'm proposing is, can we have a situation where our international students can be taught back home, so that all this money going abroad can stay in Africa? We can hire international professors and they work together with the African professors. I don't know if that's a possibility. I would like Barrister Anna to talk about it, because she was the one who spoke. I didn't even know ASU was on strike. So education is one way we are having social injustice or social justice. And I think that as Director General of Operations, everybody knows I write. So I'm an author. So I write, I keep writing, but I can't write alone. And that's why I'm having people translate my books to various languages so that they can understand. So on the area of education, Barrister Anna can give us 1 or 2 minutes how we can bring all these international students, make them stay in their home country. If there are no chemicals for them to work with, of course they will travel. So Barrister Anna, please, over to you. Thank you.
Is Barrister Anna back? Barrister Anna, there are 2 questions waiting for you. Is she back?
If she's not available, Queenmother can talk about it, because Queenmother has visited Africa. So I just want somebody who understands the distinction to be able to say, because honestly, international students have loads and loads and loads of money, and those abroad are like, where did all this money come from? And they're like, from Africa, of course. So Queenmother can talk about that education system.
Is Queenmother here with us?
Yes, I'm here. Well,
the point is, our children from Africa have been traveling abroad to United States, United Kingdom, because of quality education, their schools. Now, according to our question, can't we have something done for our students, our children, to remain here in Nigeria, where we have whosoever that may want to take them, teach them, lecture them, or whatsoever? You know, it can be done online, working with the other professors here. What idea do we have on that? Because if we are saying this to the world, and it's a which project we are proposing now. So what do you have to say to that?
Well, I think that Ambassador Ine is back, so she can answer from a legal standpoint. But I definitely agree. You know, I have quite a few friends in Africa that are constantly looking for outside educational opportunities to come to America to study, you know, to go to Europe to study law and so forth. So it is a sad situation. I think that online, you know, with our online formats of learning, e-learning, that can be a solution. But unfortunately, in Africa, there's a major problem with basic infrastructure such as internet access and electricity and so forth. So those are some barriers. If we can solve those infrastructure issues like internet, then the e-learning opportunities are wide open for the Africans to stay and be empowered in their countries. Just like last year, I was able to help facilitate, I'm on the board of directors for a NGO in Liberia, Heritage Liberia. The founder of Heritage Liberia is the vice president of administration for the University of Liberia. So, so what I orchestrated is I brought in a HBCU, which is a historically Black college in in the United States, called Texas A&M. I had that instructor, there's an instructor there who trains students on solar energy training. So I paired up this American university and this American instructor to teach the African students in Liberia virtually about how to install solar energy, the principles of solar energy. So now those Liberian students are educated on how to do solar energy. So I think models like that can be effective right now, but again, it's going to boil down to proper internet access. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. You have just said your ability and what you can really work on. God will help us. Barrister Ene, I don't know, maybe the network issue as well. Barrister Ene, are you with us? Is she back?
Very well.
Oh my God.
I am.
Are you back with us? All right. We have penned a question for you. We have 2 questions. Maybe we should start with the educational system. Please, we would like to see your face.
Okay.
All right, work on that. Okay, all right. The number 1 question here, let's start from number 2. We make the number 2 number 1. Now, we're talking about education. We have children rushing abroad for studies. How can we make it done for our children to remain in Africa, to remain in Nigeria, or wherever they are in Africa, and to have whosoever that may want to take them, you know, in any subject or any course they might want to study, because of the huge amount children, you know, pushing forward to the other international schools. And, you know, some of them, not that they have this money, some do sell their properties, landed property, house, or whatsoever they have to study. So what do you have to say to that? Do you have any idea or any contributions on what to do to have this quality education for our children, not to be traveling abroad?
Okay, thank you very much for this question. One thing we must realize is that foreign education for an average African family is an investment. One, the insecurity in the country, in most African countries, the level of poverty. And the reason is on the easiest way for an average African family to rescue their lineage from poverty is to train one of their child to study abroad. When that child goes abroad, irrespective of the amount they are calling, for them it's not just the education. Most of them, they don't come back. It's another way of migrating them there using education. So when the government, unless Africa is developed and is conducive in terms of not just educational infrastructure, security of life and property is just eluding Africa. They are going for greener pasture, not just greener education, but greener pasture. But they're using education. Let me tell you, maybe yes, they have the PhD in Nigeria, but they find out that the condition for working here, the working condition here is terrible. Ask our doctors. What they do is, okay, let me go and do masters in another course. I've tried to go on the travel visits, no way through this, but education, 80% of people that got a visa went through education, applied as a student, so they got there. Ask them, after they've gotten that education, tell them to come back, they won't come back. So it's not that the education is bad. That is the reason why they are going. I know some people who graduated from a private university in Nigeria. They did their secondary school, primary school in a very good primary school, Corona and all that. But I can tell you, they said they want to travel abroad, even if they're going to a public school in that place. The school may not even be as good as the one they've left in Nigeria, but beyond the school, what about other healthcare? What about your security of life, family life, the uncertainties that are in Africa? You go out today, there's gas explosion here, people are killed, Boko Haram, terrorism, and all that. People are scared. Even in Lagos here, people move to Lagos and you ask them, you are doing better in your village. Why are you in Lagos? They say, I came here to school. Are you sure it's only school? They say, no, I want to also get job because the jobs are here. So it's not just about school. What can Africa do to stop the inflow of their children studying abroad? Let government work, responsible and responsive government. Let us have good governance. Let justice be served in all sectors. Housing, our road should not be a death trap. Our school should not be a place where our children would be kidnapped. Our place of work should have zero tolerance for death at work. Let there be security of lives and properties. What is carrying people out of Africa is not, oh, there's no education. No, no, no. They don't, life is not guaranteed. What is the life expectancy in Africa? So nobody wants to die. They want to travel abroad to secure their life. And when they get there, they will move their father, their mother, their brothers and sisters out of that of Africa and give them a better life. So, but they came in as students. I know so many of my clients that have gone as students, but they were doing in terms of their work here, they were earning more. But they said beyond this, I'm sure of my pay today, but next month, I'm not sure. Election is coming, there will be electoral violence. I am scared. I could get killed. I could get kidnapped. I don't want all this for myself and my children. The opportunities are disappearing. You understand? So I want a better life, or a safer life, not just better life, but safer life for myself. I want to live up to 70, 80, like the speaker that's from Puerto Rico. Look at him, he's 70 and he's agile. He's talking like a youth. How many 70 years old in Nigeria can talk like this? What's the quality of life? At 60, they're already having their walking stick and shaking. Why? They don't have access to a good health. They don't have access to good water. They don't have access to good infrastructure. What do we have for the elderly? They don't have anything. There is no social programs for them. Their pension are being taken. You work and contribute to contributory pension. I have a message from an ex-police officer who has been battling to get his pension. So it's not about the education. He will tell his child, if you work here and you get everything done here, your pension and your old age is not secured. Go where it's secured. Go get the job, the education there and secure your life. So what we must do is responsive, and we can't overflow the issue of good governance. Everything teaches on good governance. Good governance in terms of education, good governance in terms of policy making, good governance in all facets of our life. We want to see a country where I don't need to know anybody to get something. Let it not be, we don't do strong institutions and not strong personalities. What we are seeing today is strong personalities. Oh, this godfather, that godfather. For those that don't have godfather, how will they cope? So they say, okay, let me go to where the institutions are working. Even if I'm a cleaner in America, my life is more secure than when I'm a professor in Nigeria. Professors are crying. Education is being seen as a scam. Who are the people that have money in Africa? They are hardly educationists. They say their reward is in heaven. But the Agbero, the NURTW people, and the merchants of violence are having a field day in the country. So people will tell you that education is a scam. Oh, look at that, my brother, he's a PhD holder. He doesn't have a job. I am the one giving him food. The one that is in politics is making money. So let him go and join politics and make money and stop carrying this suit and tie up and down, white collars or doing charge and bail lawyer. So many lawyers are not well paid. Some are being paid 20, 30, 50,000. So how do you get, so when I've gotten the education, what is the entitlement for being educated? I've not seen militants going on strike. I've not seen the bad boys going on strike. But you see, ASU, education is going on strike, demanding for better work condition. I don't want to end up like my professor who is crying for food, who does not have assurance for good health. I want to currency. Imagine $1 to Naira in Nigeria is 500, over 500. So if they get and say, oh, whatever I spend, I will get it once I get there. It's an investment. So when they did abroad and came back, I created, of course, all the schools we are seeing today. They were more comfortable here than better then. They returned. So they're duplicating what they saw over there. They were consultants, village headmasters. We were proud of them because they were noble. They were envied. But today, they
Okay, I think our network is so bad. I think our network is so bad. She's boiling right now. She's so boiling. That's so wonderful from her. Is a good contributions. We still will be waiting for her to come back. While we're waiting for her, I think we have at least got one or two things she has said. It's not just education that makes our people traveling abroad. She said example of the doctors. We see doctors in their numbers, traveling abroad for job opportunities. So it's not just about education. Doctors are already graduates. They are already we're doing person, but when they are unable to even practice what they have done, and why practicing when government is unable to pay them, they decided to travel about. So concerning our own project, concerning this education, we are still going to look into other educational practitioners, the professors, and those others we know that they are into this education, to invite them for a talk like this. And more so, we have it on the chart now concerning the Global Unity Network that are into all this virtual learning. Dr. Yuande, please, you can easily get a contact. So we're able to chat with Ambassador Lloyd later, Avati, to know more about the program and see how we can partner. And other people we are going to call on this platform to talk about this important issue, education. How can we help our people here in Africa stay in Africa, learn in Africa, grow in Africa, develop in Africa? So let's see how we go. So thank you so much. If President comes back, we know what to do with that. Let me quickly hear one or two. Here.
I am back.
Okay.
I am back. Sorry, my
network. It seems
yes.
It seems that by the time you went the other time, you went to go and eat, because the way you are now blowing, You have the energy and strength. So, and the network said that the energy was too much. So that was now the network interrupted you. So by the way, please, can you just round up your speech? Just round it up, please.
Okay. Yes, I'm an advocate of good governance. Everything we talk about, be it the work we're doing as individuals, it will not make much impact unless government complements our effort by listening to the voices of stakeholders like us, giving them a report of what the community is going through, appealing to them, demanding from them to ensure that good governance is not just something on papers, but is being felt here. Let the system work. Let us do stronger institutions. Our electoral processes should be transparent. It should be inclusive, should be devoid of politics of bitterness and violence. We want to see human rights being respected. Human rights, of course, is not being respected like abroad. People want to see their rights respected. That's why they're running abroad. Wherever they go is in search of human dignity, greener pasture, safer pasture. Now for me, I granted the interview to the Guardian newspaper and I told them, it's not just about greener pasture. It's safer pasture this time around. Lives, what is the meaning of life in Nigeria, in Africa? So they want somewhere they are secured. Our educational sector should not be seen as a scam. Children must go back to school and reverence education needs. They should not make education needs look pitiable. Professors and education needs should be the envy of everyone in the community. People that chose to study in Nigeria, let them become ambassadors, enviable ambassadors among the community. They should not say, oh, if I had studied abroad, they would have been paying me in hard currency. That is another thing again. When you study abroad, they pay you as an expatriate. They hardly pay you as an expatriate in hard currency in Nigeria. You can hardly negotiate that. So that is another economic value you add to your life when you study. You come with foreign and what's it called, certificate. They place it higher than the certificates you obtain in the best of Nigeria university. My elder sister, Professor Ruth Adio Moses, is a lecturer in University of Ibadan. And I can tell you, most of the students want to study abroad because they've seen their counterpart that went abroad, they got a certificate, and now they're getting better opportunities. So they say, oh, after this, I want to do my master's abroad. I want to do another master's abroad. So you see proliferation of certificates. Why? Because Nigerian certificates are not giving much value like foreign education. So
thank you, Barrister.
let government work.
Thank you so much.
Let the country
thank you so much. All right.
Chaplain
Barrister,
James.
Thank you so much. We
Chaplain
got
James.
that. Yes. Queenmother, can we hear you?
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I just want to say something really quick. To me, social justice is Africa having access to proper internet service. This is ridiculous. It breaks my heart to see that professional people in Nigeria, in Ghana, and other parts of Africa cannot have a whole entire conversation because there's not proper internet access. How much damage is that doing to businesses in Africa, to the people in Africa, that they cannot properly communicate because there is not stable internet, just like what we saw Ambassador Sarah go through. So social justice, let's demand proper internet and electricity come to Africa so the people can thrive. Thank you. That's all I want to say.
Thank you so much. It's another good point we're going to look into. And whatsoever we are saying here, we are not going just to end it here. We'll make sure we have another good day to talk about it and the implementation.
Thank you, Nina, for that observation. Thank you, Nina, for that observation.
Yes, it is a good one. So the internet here in Nigeria doesn't know if you're a lawyer, if you're a pastor, if you're a doctor, or if you're an advocate. When you are speaking, you just see that it goes off and on. So it is part of what we need to advocate for. We'll be trying our best to see what we can do about this. But we are having a very limited time here. Secondly, your second question, briefly, we are just giving you, because these are closing time. Barrister Ene, women and men in the same family. Is there any constitution, is there any law that is supporting women to have the same or equal rights? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Is the part of the network we are talking about?
Please, yes, come again with your question.
All right. Is there any law that is now binding the women and men together to have same access to their fathers or parents' property? Because you know, when to share property, they will say this is a woman, this is a girl, this is a lady. It's not entitled to properties. We are talking about social justice here. Is there any law concerning that now that support women having same rights to their properties?
Yeah.
Just 2 minutes, please.
The Constitution is there. The right to all the provisions in that Constitution is gender bias, blind. That means it speaks to every person. You don't say every man have right to life. You say every man have right. Every person have right to life. Every person have right to dignity. Every person have right to fair hearing. Every person have right. So if you identify a woman as a human being, that right is agreeable to them. Our Constitution promotes equal distribution of wealth when it comes to family property, rights not to suffer discrimination as a result of your sex or gender and all that. But I can tell you there's so many laws that protect women. The violence against person law is there. The domestic law against domestic violence and discrimination is there. Law against cultural and harmful traditional practices, they are all there in Nigeria. But we have so many laws that are not being enforced, that are difficult to be enforced. So it's about enforcement. But our laws did not promote discrimination against women, the Constitution. But the enforcement becomes the problem. Their brothers will tell them, keep that your Constitution to yourself. This is my own family. I want to do it. But we have seen people who have challenged that. They've gone to court to challenge their brothers for disinheriting them. And the court upheld that they should be giving, that parent wealth should be distributed equally.
Equally,
that's
lovely.
And female, irrespective.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
That is what we want to hear from you as a barrister. Thank you so much for that contributions. We want to use this opportunity to announce our next webinar on the 1st of March, this very year, that talks about zero discrimination. Is International Day for Zero Discrimination. So next program, March 1st, it is zero discrimination. We are expecting everyone to be on board too, and other special guests will follow. So before we run it up, we'd like to hear from Ambassador Andrew and others that are in the house to say hello to us as we are closing right now. Ambassador Andrew, over to you, please. Can we hear from you?
Well, thank you. But first, there's a hand raised from Saint Emmanuel. So I'll defer to that and then allow any other guests to speak before we close. Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for that, Ambassador. Okay. Who is Miss Emmanuel? Please, are you with us? Can you unmute yourself and say something briefly because we are running off already? Saint Emmanuel? Okay, if it's not there with us, please, can we hear from you, Ambassador Lloyd? Ambassador Lloyd?
Hello. Hello.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Saint Emmanuel, please, 1 minute, please.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, concerning the last discussion towards the agency, law enforcement, the domestic violence, and all those that constitute it, I have a little words to say concerning that. The agency are not even helping so much like that. Are you with me?
We are with you. We can hear you.
Yes, but you have one. You have 1 minute.
Just 1 minute, please. 1 minute.
Okay. I will just brief you. In a situation,
First, please say your name and where you're calling from, and then proceed with your comment. 1 minute. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Emmanuel. I'm calling from Nigeria, Lagos. Concerning the agency of the thing, I said they are not helping very well. That the system is so corrupt. So they are not helping very well. I was listening when they mentioned the issue of agency of sexual violence, domestic, and other agencies like that. When the agency is corrupt, the outcome of it will not be solid, will not be good. That is why you see that insecurity are everywhere. Everybody wants to flee out of the country to have a better, greener pasture. I get to my point very clear.
Thank you very much, sir. Is there anyone else that has not spoken that would like to speak before we close? Now is that time.
All right, we would like to hear from Asud Barakata. Please, can we hear from you, Asud? Just say one or two things. Let's hear from you. Okay. It's a pleasure meeting you. All right. Can we hear from you? Just say one or two things. Just 1 minute, please.
Sure. Well, honestly, this is the first time I'm in such a meeting, and it was very nice.
Please first introduce yourself, your name, and your organization or country. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry. My name is Asud Bayraktar, and I'm from Turkey. And this meeting was very good for me because this is the first time I'm hearing such things, and it's nice hearing all the problems, and we know that there are solutions and there are things that we can do. And thank you all.
All right, thank you so much for that brief introduction. That's lovely. Oh, bless. Is there any other one here that we, okay. Ambassador Sulaiman, please, can we hear you? We are running on with you, please. Ambassador Sulaiman, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you clearly, please.
Yeah, thank you. Nahla Sulaiman from Sudan. Really very nice topic about social justice. But as I'm frontline health secure worker for COVID-19, that the equity is a must for all over the world. And I would like to recommend and ask from Mr. Andrew, as he is a hero for these organizations, and he has I mean, his voice will be heard worldwide, especially for those who are controlling the world. So I would like to suggest that an international conference to let all the leaders, all who are donors in charge, who like to change the world, to state a same educational levels for all over the countries. And those developed countries to support underdeveloped countries, as I heard from some speaker that yes, they need a technology, but we do know the internet. If you being sponsored to study over the internet, they will not have the money to pay for internet. So all these issues should be considered so the student, regardless of their level of education, will be highly supported. And as COVID-19 is still the world for high restrictions for traveling, I think this is a high time and peak time to start the education online, but needs really more discussion with who are in charge and without interruption from the political leaders. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ambassador Sulaiman. All right, over to you, Ambassador Andrew.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for attending. I do want to offer everyone the opportunity to create your own time and space for your own narrative about projects that you believe are relevant to what we're doing. I put my contact information in the chat. Joseph Akinola has come aboard to assist Andrew Networks to continue providing a platform where we can all continue to have a narrative. All of this, today's event and others for the past year and going forward, will be rebroadcast on our Facebook group, AHIABGA Network. But the idea is that it's up to each of us to shape our own narrative. So we're willing to provide you the platform. You have to come ready to make your presentation available. We do look forward afterwards to launching AHIABGA-TV so that we'll be able to reach a global audience. But in closing, I do want to say that this is a continuing effort on our part. I'm here in Los Angeles. I'm on the land of the Tongva people, the indigenous people. I do myself have indigenous rights. So I believe it's critically important that we begin with human rights, including indigenous rights. And also, from what I've heard today, we need to address labor, the environment, and anti-corruption and transparency. All those are the 10 principles of the United Nations Global Compact. And that's why I'm asking each of us to be able to communicate, to bring ourselves together as one collective group so that we can have a seat at the table and not continue to be on the menu. Thank you.
Wow, that's so lovely. As you have heard, Ambassador Andrew, please let's quickly go back and develop whatsoever suggestion we have brought here or concept concerning educational system, internet from Queenmother, and other ideas we have brought up today. So we are not just talking, we have to act on what we have said so far. So thank you for today's program, the Social Justice. We thank all the participants. We thank the host and AHIABGA-TV and other board members that join us for today. Dr. Yuande, I can see you, and others that are joining, all the speakers, the girls, and the other lady that's just joining us from Turkey. I say you are highly welcome. And all the viewers at home, thank you so much for joining us today. I remain Ambassador Chaplain James Messi Obatunmibi. That's my name. I am the CEO and the president of World Humanitarian Organization for Peace and Equity. So thank you so much for this wonderful session. God bless you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.